For centuries, the crucifixion of Jesus has been a central theme in art and storytelling. Yet until 1968, no physical evidence confirmed that crucifixion was practiced as described in ancient texts. That changed with the discovery of Yehochanan's remains, a man whose heel bone still held a 7-inch iron nail. This rare find, one of only 2 direct archaeological proofs of crucifixion, reshaped our understanding of this brutal execution method. The placement of the nails and the techniques used by the Romans challenged traditional depictions, offering a glimpse into the complexities of crucifixion and its role in ancient history. In 1968, construction workers in Jerusalem's Givat HaMivtar neighborhood uncovered a cemetery from the 1st century CE. Inside one tomb, archaeologists found an ossuary, a bone box, containing something shocking. The heel bone of a man named Yehochanan still had a 7-inch iron nail driven through it. This became the first archaeological proof that crucifixion happened exactly as ancient sources described. This discovery revealed critical details about Roman execution methods. For centuries, artists depicted crucifixion victims with nails through their palms or wrists. But Yehochanan's remains told a different story. The nail pierced sideways through his right heel bone, with fragments of wood still lodged between the iron and bone. Forensic analysis showed the nail had struck a knot in the wooden cross, bending as it was hammered in. This detail explains why the bone cracked but didn't shatter completely. The nail's placement offers a rare glimpse into the practical mechanics of crucifixion. Yehochanan's feet were likely nailed to either side of the upright post, not placed together in front as often shown in artwork. His legs were bent and rotated outward, allowing the executioner to drive the nail through the narrowest part of the heel. This aligns with descriptions from historians like Josephus, who noted victims were fastened to crosses in different postures. Physical evidence like this is incredibly rare. Although the Romans crucified tens of thousands, most victims were left to rot on crosses or discarded in mass graves. Yehochanan's family, likely wealthy and well-connected, recovered his remains, making this discovery possible. The ossuary also provides a glimpse into his life. Yehochanan was about 28 years old and had suffered mild malnutrition as a child. His crucifixion followed standard Roman procedures, but forensic evidence shows his legs were deliberately broken, a practice called crucifixion-like, used to hasten death. This detail matches ancient accounts of Roman executions. This single heel bone serves as a fingerprint from the past, linking physical evidence to historical texts. The bent nail, heel placement, and broken legs confirm the Romans used nails exactly as described in contemporary sources, bridging the gap between history and archaeology. In 2007, workers digging near Venice uncovered something unusual: a Roman-era skeleton buried alone with no grave goods. The bones told a story. The right heel had a clean, round hole punched straight through it from inner to outer side. Scientists noticed something else. The hole had a depressed fracture on the inner side, but not the outer. This meant whatever caused the injury struck with force while the person was still alive, like a deliberate, precise blow in a modern forensic reconstruction. What caught archaeologists' attention was how the hole matched the size and angle of a crucifixion nail. The clean edges and fracture pattern confirmed it wasn't random damage after death, but a purposeful act during execution. Unlike the famous Jerusalem find, no nail remained in the bone. The skeleton, belonging to a man in his late 20s or early 30s, was buried outside normal cemetery grounds. No coffin, no personal items, just a body discarded in the dirt, marking him as an outcast. Modern imaging ruled out disease or accident as the cause of the heel injury. The circular puncture matched ancient nails, though most Roman nails had square shafts, suggesting executioners used whatever was available. Interestingly, the feet might not have been the only nailed parts. Researchers suspect the hands or wrists could have been pinned too, but without surviving wood or nails, it's impossible to confirm. Comparing this to Yehochanan's remains from Jerusalem reveals intriguing contrasts. Both show heel trauma, but the Italian case lacks nails and features a different puncture shape. Yehochanan's legs were broken, while the Italian skeleton showed no such injuries. These differences hint at regional variations in crucifixion methods. Local execution crews may have had distinct techniques, or punishments could have varied based on the crime. The missing nail in the Italian case raises questions. It might have been removed before burial, either as an act of mercy or to reuse the metal. Alternatively, ropes could have secured the ankles while nails pinned the wrists. Ancient sources describe both methods, and soft tissue leaves no trace on bones. These two skeletons, separated by time and geography, reveal crucifixion's diversity. Regional practices shaped everything from tools to techniques, offering a broader understanding of this brutal Roman punishment. The scarcity of crucifixion evidence makes sense when you realize nails weren't the standard tool. Ropes did most of the work. Ancient sources describe victims hanging from beams tied at wrists and ankles, a method leaving no marks on bones. That's why we've only found 2 confirmed cases, despite Romans executing thousands. Ropes were cheap, reusable, and required no skilled labor. Nails, on the other hand, were costly and couldn't be easily recovered unless someone pulled them from corpses, a grim task few would undertake. Execution style often reflected status. Slaves and rebels were more likely to face nails as an added punishment. The Caiaphas family tomb nails illustrate this. Small spikes bent into hooks after piercing palms. Forensic archaeologist Israel Hershkovitz explains these nails weren't load-bearing. They simply kept victims from wriggling free of the ropes that actually supported their weight. Peasants and prisoners of war typically endured rope-only crucifixions, leaving no bone damage. This explains why victims like Yehochanan are so rare. Now consider the logistics. During rebellions, a single crucifixion squad might execute dozens in a day. Hammering nails took time and tools, while tying ropes was faster and required fewer soldiers. This efficiency mattered. Yehochanan's nailed execution likely reflected Jerusalem's symbolic importance, while the Italian victim's single heel nail suggests a quicker, less elaborate process. The scarcity of crucifixion nails in excavations also ties to Roman recycling practices. Iron spikes were often melted down and repurposed, leaving few behind. Even the Caiaphas nails were found in a burial, not at an execution site. Only bent or broken nails like Yehochanan's were discarded, which explains their rarity in the archaeological record. The human cost of these methods was staggering. Nails caused infections, prolonging suffering, a deliberate choice to maximize deterrence. Rope victims, by contrast, died faster from asphyxiation as their muscles gave out. Each method served a purpose. Public executions used nails for visibility, while mass punishments relied on ropes to clear backlogs efficiently. The Jerusalem and Italian skeletons stand out as rare forensic traces of a brutal system designed for both spectacle and control. Centuries before crosses lined Roman roads, the Persians used a more brutal method, impaling victims upright on sharpened poles. Herodotus describes rebels fixed upon stakes along major roads as warnings. The goal was prolonged visibility, with victims sometimes surviving for weeks, a grim spectacle of deterrence. The Greeks adapted this cruelty to suit their needs. During naval mutinies, ship masts became execution tools. Victims were lashed spread eagle across yardarms, their bodies exposed to salt spray and relentless sun. Polybius recounts how Dionysius of Syracuse crucified disobedient sailors on their own ships, turning vessels into floating displays of suffering. This maritime twist highlights how crucifixion evolved to fit different environments, like a grim blueprint adjusted for new settings. Carthage escalated the practice further. When 20,000 mercenaries rebelled in 240 BCE, the Carthaginians responded with mass crucifixions. Diodorus Siculus describes forests of crosses lining roads to the capital, with victims nailed in ways that prolonged agony. The message was clear: defiance meant slow public death. These early examples set the stage for Rome's innovations. Rome's real contribution wasn't the method, it was the system. They turned crucifixion into a bureaucratic process. Standardized vertical posts, steeps, were planted outside major towns, while reusable crossbeams, patibula, were carried by victims through jeering crowds. Archaeologists have found nail clusters near city gates, evidence of execution squads working with chilling efficiency. Crucifixion became less about individual suffering and more about the routine industrialized display of state power. This system explains why Rome chose crucifixion for Jesus. Sedition charges demanded maximum deterrence, but governors sought to avoid uprisings. Crosses were reserved for specific crimes and identities. Josephus notes Judean rebels were crucified facing Jerusalem's walls, close enough for recognition, far enough to prevent rescue. Pilate's decision followed decades of Roman policy using crucifixion to crush nationalist movements. Execution sites were chosen for visibility. Pliny the Elder describes poisoners crucified outside arenas where crowds gathered. Similarly, Calvary was likely near a major Jerusalem gate, ensuring every passerby became an unwilling witness, reinforcing Rome's dominance through forced spectatorship. Here's the thing about crime scenes. They rarely stay preserved for 2,000 years. The exact spot where Jesus was crucified has been debated for centuries, not because the location is unknown, but because the landscape has been reshaped so drastically. After the Jewish revolts in the 1st and 2nd centuries, Emperor Hadrian demolished parts of Jerusalem and built a temple to Venus over what Christians believed was the crucifixion site. This deliberate act aimed to erase the sacred connection by replacing it with pagan worship. Fast forward to Constantine in the 4th century. His builders tore down Hadrian's temple and excavated the ground beneath it. According to tradition, they uncovered remains of the crucifixion site and built the Church of the Holy Sepulchre over it. But nearly 300 years had passed. The city had been destroyed and rebuilt multiple times. Did Constantine's builders truly find the right spot, or was it chosen for symbolic reasons? Excavations under the church reveal ancient limestone quarries, matching descriptions of Golgotha as a rocky outcrop near a quarry. Still, definitive proof remains elusive. In 2018, researchers analyzed pollen trapped in the limestone beneath the church. They found traces of ancient plant life, including species that wouldn't have grown naturally in the area unless deliberately cultivated. The Gospel of John mentions a garden near the crucifixion site, and the pollen matches plants that could have been part of a 1st century garden. While this doesn't confirm the exact location, it strengthens the argument that the church sits near the original site. Jerusalem's transformation complicates the search for certainty. Roads were moved, hills leveled, and the church itself destroyed and rebuilt multiple times, each version altering the layout. The city is like a palimpsest, with each era leaving hidden marks beneath the surface. Modern archaeologists use advanced tools like laser scans and ground-penetrating radar, but even these can't fully untangle the layers of history. Pollen analysis offers a glimpse into the past where traditional archaeology struggles. Cultivated plants near the church suggest intentional activity, possibly a memorial garden. Yet skeptics note that pollen travels easily, so its presence isn't definitive. What's clear is the site's enduring significance, reflecting shifts in power, faith, and memory over centuries. These two skeletons don't prove Jesus was crucified, but they confirm crucifixion happened as described. Nails, heel wounds, and broken bones all align with historical accounts. Each discovery is a link in the chain, connecting ancient texts to tangible evidence. Excavations at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre continue to reveal clues, from ancient plant remains to potential tomb connections. These findings don't resolve every debate, but they deepen our understanding of the past. What else lies buried, waiting to be uncovered? Each artifact brings us closer to unraveling history's mysteries, proof that the story is far from over. Finally, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share to show your support. Every click helps crack open the next vault. This is Tales from the Time Vault.